Hey guys, and welcome to part 37 of Let's Play Pokemon SoulSilver. In the last part we got our second gym badge at Saffron City, and then we came to Cerulean City, and I was like, hey Misty, let's have a battle. But I was like, what? Misty's not in the gym, I don't even know. And, yes, so Misty is not in the gym, and pretty much we're going to spend most of this part trying to find her, because with the first two gyms you don't really have to do anything. To get to Kanto you go on the boat ride and you're there, and then to get to Saffron you literally just have to walk there, and then Sabrina's already in the gym. But of course if every single gym leader you could just go straight to them, then it would be incredibly easy. But the thing is with all this is that with the first region, or with Johto, they can have it, or they had things like HMs. So one of the reasons why you say couldn't get to another place is because you needed a HM. And another way that they did it, so you couldn't go to any gym straight away, is by having people blocking your way and say, hey, you can't go over there. But with Kanto, they can't really do that in the same way. They couldn't have it where it's like, oh, you need another HM. Because nobody wants, you know, there's already too many HMs in this game. Nobody wants another HM that they have to, you know, teach to one of their Pokemon. And they've kind of used them all in this game, I think. I think even Rock Smash is in this version, so they can't really use that either. So yeah, so the way they did it is like with this one, Misty just isn't there, and you have to do some sort of side quest stuff to go find her. But the first thing I'm doing, actually, what I'm doing at the moment doesn't help towards finding Misty. You do technically have to do it, but yeah, so this is, if you remember in the originals, like you should, because everyone loves the first generation of Pokemon, is that you had on Nugget Bridge, you had all the different trainers, and then once you got to the last trainer, he's like, hey, Team Rocket's pretty cool, why don't you join us? And you punch him in the face, and he's like, oh. I think that's how it went. But this one, you actually do the exact same thing, but the nice thing is that it's the same, but it's different, because, well, first of all, the Pokemon and trainers are different. And also, you have to technically fight 6 or 7 trainers, I think. There's an extra trainer in there somewhere who's just like, hey, I'm going to fight you because, I don't know, I'm bored, I guess. But it's pretty cool because they're not actually on the bridge. So I think the reason why they're not on the bridge is because they didn't want you, or they didn't want to have to fill this whole route with tons of trainers. Because I don't think that's kind of the point of Kanto in between each area, that you're not supposed to fight tons of trainers in any one route. I think that's what they were going for anyway. So instead of having, say, like in the original, all the trainers on Nugget Bridge and then all the trainers towards Bill's, they decided to just move all the trainers up to this area. So I like it because it's both nostalgic, because it's like, hey, I'm doing that same thing I did in the original, but you're not technically doing the exact same thing. You are doing something a bit different, and I mean, it is the same, they're just in different locations. And it's also pretty cool that they actually changed the layout of this route a bit. Well, I don't think they actually changed it that much, but it looks really different because of all the trees are actually now proper trees. You know, with this being the DS, they can actually render, I don't think that's the right word to use, but they can actually have big trees. They don't have to have like tiny little, you know, stupid trees. So this is kind of nice that, yeah, you get a lot of training by doing this, so it's worth doing. And I think you do technically have to do this to get to Misty. You don't have to do it at this point in time, but like I already mentioned, this is blind. I've never done Kanto before. Or I did Kanto in Pokemon Silver, but I didn't do it in Heart Gold. So really, I had no idea. I can't remember what exactly to do. You know, so I'm pretty much just winging it. So when it came to this area, I was like, well, I don't know where Misty is. I have no idea. And the one problem with all this is that they give you very little clues. It really is, I know that I've kind of in the past, like with my Pearl LP, said how I would like it, or like the Pokemon games to be more open world and you can go anywhere. And this is probably, this version of Kanto is like the purest version of that, where you can go anywhere. But the main problem is that I think it relies far too much on your previous knowledge of the other games and the original version of Kanto, because if you haven't played those games and explored Kanto, then you're going to be pretty much stuck here, because you're not going to know how everything comes together. You can figure it out because you get a town map, so you can look on your map and see all the kind of things, but you're not going to be able to figure a lot of it out. You're not going to go to the certain places, and you're not going to explore certain places, and you know, to get through Kanto, you really do just have to be like, right, where can I go? I should go. You just go wherever you can go. and because it's kind of opened up, there was a ton of areas that as soon as you arrive in Kanto you can go. That's why, you know, I went to Saffron City, but not all the areas are completely open, you know, with the Snorlax and all that, but we'll get to that when we get to that. So yeah, I've almost done this route. I thought I might as well go check out what this item was. It was a protein, so I mean that's pretty cool. And with the trainer battles, I am trying to do a decent number of them, because my Pokemon are a bit low leveled. I think I mentioned this in the last part, but if I encounter a gym battle where I don't have its weakness, then I'm pretty much screwed. And I don't think that's going to happen. Off the top of my head, I don't think that could happen. But, you know, it's nice to get some XP, because this guy is a level 48 Rhyhorn. None of my Pokemon are even close to level 48. They're all level 45 or so. And, well, I mean, the Fluff is level 44, so I mean... But the reason why the Fluff is level 44 and I haven't been using the Fluff in this part and the part before that much is because the Fluff is going to come in really handy for the gym. So for the actual gym, because it's misty, so, you know, water types, the Fluff is going to come in really handy. But I didn't think it was necessary for me to actually level up the Fluff to be strong enough to take on the gym. I kind of assumed that the Fluff, being a strong Pokemon, wouldn't need to get all the experience, and that it'll be more useful to say give the experience to the other Pokemon, because when I go to the gym the Fluff is going to take all the XP, a bit like how E-Rock took all the XP with the Viridian City gym, and how Mr. Sublime pretty much took all the XP for Sabrina. So, but yeah, so there's this area here that's called the Cape, and it's just there. So we'll come back to that, but it's kind of just weird how they did this whole section with finding Misty, because that cape is important. It's called the Cape, and it is important and relevant, but the game doesn't really tell you that much, really. It's kind of a bit weird. I mean, you'll see. I don't want to ramble on about something that we haven't got to yet. So one thing I really do like, though, in this game is how they've redone Viridian City. It's pretty much the same. I can't say I love the new version of the Viridian City song. Can't say I'm a big fan of that, but I do really like the look of the place, and it's a bit bigger now and there's lights everywhere. It looks pretty cool. Although one thing they didn't fix for some reason is that every time you want to go round, or you have to go round the gym every single time, at the bottom of the city, as we would have seen at the end of the last part, there is a gap, so you can just walk straight into the city without having to go round and like that way. But you know, you still have to go round the gym, so if you like to get there, you know what I mean. If you've played the game, you know what I mean. You have to go round for some reason, and I would have thought if they were redoing this, then they would have made it so you can access all of the city at one time, because it is extremely weird that there's a ledge. Like, why is there a ledge in the middle of a city? That's just silly. You know, isn't maybe it's because these are meant to be Japan and Japanese games. Maybe they just have big ledges in the middle of their towns. I mean, I can't really talk. All the towns in England are a mess. They're all super hilly and all over the place. But still, it's Pokemon, you know. It's meant to be a city. There wouldn't be kind of a ledge like that. Although the ledges are weird, because I think graphically they never have gotten them right. Like, I don't think there's any games where the ledges will actually look like a ledge. It just, like, because I've been playing Pokemon like for years and years, I know what a ledge is, and I know what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like a gap, like a kind of little gap that you jump down from. But I don't think I've ever gotten the feeling that I'm actually jumping down ledges in any of the games. I mean, hopefully that would be something that will, in Pokemon X and Y, they'll probably actually render the ledges. Like, look at that. That's just a texture in the middle of the route. And you know I'm running out of things to say when I'm talking about ledges, you know. But they are actually a surprisingly big part of Pokemon games. They're in all of them, and, you know, in the first two generations, definitely the first one, they were a big part of the, you know, design of the world. A lot of it did come down to jumping down on ledges when exploring routes, although they kind of completely moved away from that for later regions. So, but yeah, I am interested to see if Pokemon X and Y has ledges in that same way. Although Pokemon X and Y, I don't think I've talked about it in this LP as of, you know, yet. I did that one video that you should check out looking at the trailer, but actually I think it looks really good, Pokemon X and Y. Yeah, I'm moving on because this route it's one of the most boring routes in Kanto. You're just fighting trainers and that's it, so we got to get through it, so I'm going to get through it. Yeah, so Pokemon X and Y, the main thing that's disappointing about it is that I know it's going to be really good. It looks really good. I'm excited to play a game that has like so many different Pokemon in, or it looks like that's what they're going for, like a large range of Pokemon you can catch and train. And also, what if, you know, the new Pokemon as well, I don't know how many they're going to have, but that's kind of cool. But it's literally just a 3D version of the other games. Like, nothing added, it's literally just better graphics, and that seems really odd to me. Like, the biggest thing that makes me say this is that in battles, they're not really, they're 3D, but they're pretty much exactly the same as the old ones. You just take the old ones, make everything three-dimensional, and there you have it, because the Pokemon have circles around them. Which is really, why do they have those circles around them? Like, if you see in the older games, or the first 5 generations, but each Pokemon has a circle around them because, you know, you're in a 2D battle and it's trying to represent a battle, and it, you know, well, not in the Game Boy games, but yeah, from like the 3rd generation at least, they added in that circle. Like, if you were in a grassy area, there would be a circle and there'd be grass around the area, and then they're doing that exact same thing in X and Y. Why have the circle at all? It looks really weird. Like, if you're having a 3D battle in a 3D environment, why would you have this like weird circle around them? So that's what makes me think that it's not going to be anything that amazing in terms of doing anything that different. It's just going to be in 3D. But either way, it's new Pokemon, so new Pokemon is always good, and you know, after Black and White 2, I'm really excited for it. Right, so what we're doing here, right, is this is all coming together, coming to the power plant to get Misty back in the gym. It doesn't seem like it because of the way it kind of comes together, but that guy I talked to outside the gym, or there's a guy there, and he'll say something's going on at the power plant, and then you have to go back to the power plant, so you have to go through that route, and then you find out that the power plant, there's a part missing, and then this Team Rocket grunt stole a part, so you have to get the part off him. But one thing that's really weird is that this Team Rocket is meant to be dumb, so speaks like he doesn't speak properly. But the weird thing is that he also mentions that he's not from this country. So it seems like, I don't want to say racist, but it seems like somebody should be offended by this character. I mean, not me, because, you know, I'm English, and I'm very, you know, yeah, I'm trying not to be offensive myself here, but yeah, it just seems really odd and just strangely offensive for a kids game that this Team Rocket character would not speak properly. See, me from another country. Like, it seems like the people who wrote these games, I guess the Japanese, although this is the, you know, the translated version for the English regions, have no idea how foreign people speak. I know how foreign people speak. You know, if somebody has a bit like that, this character isn't speaking disjoint English. He is technically speaking messed up English, but then I guess so do I most of the time. I don't know what I'm doing. No, believe it, I can't. No, they don't talk like that. Foreigners who haven't quite grasped English don't talk like that. So it seems like it just seems really odd and just pointless. Like, I guess they wanted to give this Team Rocket character a personality, but they kind of completely messed it up by making fun of foreigners who can't speak English. That's what it feels like, because, I don't know, most people who can speak English, they speak perfectly good English. From what I can tell anyway, so this is the thing that kind of confused me about all this, is that you have to do this chain of events with the power plant, but then there's no like, you have to do this to get Misty back in the gym, but then there's no indication about when she comes back or whatever. And what we're actually doing now is that he told us that he stashed the part in the gym, but he hid it in one of the floats, or, you know, something like that. So you have to go here in the gym, you have to go all the way round, you have to go behind that float there on the left, and that's when you'll find the missing part. Which, I mean, that's bloody annoying. Why couldn't it be right at the beginning? Because the problem is that it takes, honestly, to surf, it doesn't take that long, but to get through this gym, you have to surf 2 or 3 times. And now that's not a problem if I say I only went in this gym once, but that was not the case. And you can't see if Misty's in the gym or not. Now, there is a big indication if Misty is in the gym because trainers show up, but I didn't know that when I was playing, so I went into that gym and went through it like 4 or 5 times. Twice I had to, and then the other times were just checking if Misty was in the gym or not, because there's no indication if she was in the gym. So yeah, so I'm going to make a cut here because you don't want to see me going through the route. I think there is a Pokemon Center outside Rock Cave that you could technically fly to. So I do make a cut, don't I? What am I doing? There we go, see, you made a quick cut. Because I also ran into more random Pokemon while on the water, so you don't want to see that. So yeah, you return the part, and now that this is all sorted and the power plant is all fixed, this also actually activates the magnet train, but I won't be doing that for another couple of parts, so... But yeah, now this triggers Misty to show up. But the problem is that there's like no indication of that either, so you know, I want it to be more open world, but when I'm trying to do something specific like get Misty back in the gym, I think it's kind of dumb that they have it. You do this whole side quest that seems completely unrelated, like completely unrelated. If say Misty was trying to fix the power plant, and she was like, oh, I'm not going to do any gym battles until the power plant is fixed, then that would make sense because she's actually worried. So I checked the bloody gym again, she's still not there. It's really dumb. So yeah, so now Misty is actually available that you can go find her, but we're not going to do that into the next part. So I've been on Storm 23, and this is me being a dumbass and checking the gym to try and find Misty, only to see that she's not there. So I've been on Storm 23, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.